What makes Cape Town peculiar has to do with this sort of flux of difference. And our particular urban form, which maps out the sort of geographies of what I called excess and lack of access.
From the word go, it was always a kind of contested space. Because it's not only about the interpersonal, the family, the community, but about the kind of spatial environment and its relation to the city. People of District 6 had a sense of themselves. They had a sense of ownership to the city.
Cape Town is an amazing crucible for ideas that resonate across the continent and also at the local scale. And I say this particularly because, you know, we're a place where two oceans meet, amazing history, both recent, colonial, pre-colonial, Neolithic histories.
Our history doesn't just start as a city in 1652 when a fellow called Jan van Riebeeck arrived here from Holland to set up a little colony. It's got a deep and rich history going right back to the origins of time.
In 1994, when we had a dawn of democracy in this country, there was a clear intent of reverses apartheid and its own and its objectives, and therefore each city in South Africa took on the role of ensuring that there is integration, and that can only happen through design. I think there's a misunderstanding of what Cape Town identity is.
Transcending borders, bridging barriers, just to embrace.
Because no one can actually pinpoint the one thing that makes us Cape Town.
I believe that the African identity is shaped by colonization and indigenous peoples, sometimes getting along and sometimes not. Because in many ways, Cape Town could be the New York of Africa, a place where immigrants are welcome, a place where locals are welcome, a place where locals from the rest of Africa are welcome. It's that type of sort of unstable identity that I'm interested in.
One of the things that has haunted us in South Africa is the idea of victimhood. I think it haunts Africa.
A feeling that if you live in South Africa or in Africa, you cannot do the sort of work that gets done in Paris or New York or Tokyo, wherever. And in the end, all of us are just people. And if a person can do something in anywhere else in the world, then they can do it here. And in Cape Town, I think they can do it just a little bit better. Climate change is a global issue, there's no doubt about that. And I think, I know many studies have shown that although Africa is one of the least guilty parties in causing global warming, it's going to be the first to suffer from global warming.
Design will always thrive where there are big challenges. Design will always be influenced by the need to find solutions where you don't have resources.
The world right now is yearning for design that is aimed at solving real problems.
It's not just, producing pretty products, but it is in the making of it, in engaging with the community and getting the people to understand and to appreciate what it is that you are doing with them rather than doing for them. So the knowledge economy for me has to do with how do we as professionals spread the knowledge that we have and impart it on communities so that they are not just seen as consumers.
As people, not just for Africa, but in the world, is we need to to embrace both community and the environment. So it is not just the consumer product in the end of the day, but it's also having stakeholders that will actually use and utilize this product, and also a better understanding and a need for why we do product design.
Life is complex. It's not so simple. It's not so perfect. That aspirations are complicated things, and that this first world Western paradigm that we've so entrenched is actually not the greatest thing in the whole world, and not necessarily the most sustainable thing.
In the new world, where South America is going to be talking to South Asia as new powers, and Cape Town sits as this kind of logistics place between the two, there's so many interesting jobs that aren't going to benefit people on the street. But the opportunity for people to come through the design sector really does, in some strange way, provide possibly the largest opportunity in job growth.
We have 3 of the best international universities in our city. We're basically an easy way to access the 1 billion consumers that are in Africa.
In Cape Town, we're starting to become this role model for a lot of different kinds of things, and design in Cape Town is taking its place on the world stage. We're starting to take our place in South Africa as a serious business capital.
People can access this destination now from literally all 5 or 6 continents around the world, all within 1 or 2 flights. So we are, I think, pretty centrally located, in fact. Cape Town as a world design capital, I think, is a no-brainer. I think it's the kind of city that reflects not only physical design, but also in terms of the society. By 2014, it's such a poignant time, 20 years after our democracy. I think it's a reflection that this country has recreated itself, both socially but also physically.
So Cape Town in a way represents, in a very real sense, what it means to be human.
Now, a spotlight on Cape Town, let's say we are a well-designed capital, will allow us to be able to showcase talent that comes from Cape Town, first of all. But of course, it's not only Cape Town talent that is going to be showcased on the stage. It's going to be talent from South Africa, from the SADC region, and from Africa. Just like the World Cup was the World Cup for the continent, this is a spotlight that's going to be shining on the continent.
We're not there yet. We've got a long way to go, but that's the whole reason why we took up this bid in the first place, is to ignite the development of skills and talent and the nurturing of design.